Your pendant, Miss Strange.
I do, but hardly I fear your gratitude.
Oh, I don't know. An hour ago, I could quite cheerfully have thrown you out of my house for doing what I'd asked you to do in the first place.
I'm sorry. I'm not responsible for what was done.
Simply for finding it out. Showing me the real Alicia.
I only revealed what you already knew.
I think I may come to prefer the truth.
And Captain Holliday?
He may come to feel the same when he gets over his disappointment.
It will be bitter.
It can be eased.
Then I do not quit in disgrace?
You depart, Miss Strange, with my thanks.
And this check, which arrived today.
Mr. Driscoll is a generous man.
And you are progressing, Miss Strange. We shall have to start giving you some cases commanding even higher fees.
I am not a poor girl, Mr. Cameron. I do not struggle for subsistence.
No, but you don't want for nothing, or you wouldn't be doing what you do.
I have a cause at heart, I admit that much.
One which does not appeal to your father.
You know more than you're letting on, Mr. Cameron.
I also am a detective, Miss Strange, and one with rather longer experience than you, I venture to boast. There is a certain soprano. Since she appeared on the scene, you have never missed her first nights. And she's a bit of a mystery, isn't she?
I was 9 years old when I lost her.
Was it not enough that you should refuse to marry the good man I picked for you?
I couldn't love him!
No child should ever have heard those voices.
You have disgraced me. You disgrace yourself. You stooped to the gutter to pick up this low-down scoundrel, this dago musician.
I love him!
You don't know what love means, girl.
I love him, and in the face of death itself, I shall go on saying I love him!
Very well, then. If that's how you must have it, you can be my daughter or you can be his whore.
I will be his wife!
And in the morning, she was gone.
Your sister.
More than that. She was Teresa, my elder by 10 years. She stood in my mother's stead to me for almost as long as I could remember.
Teresa has left us, children.
It must have been that very afternoon that Father came in where my brother Arthur and I were trying to play.
You are not to look out of the window for her, nor run to the door when the bell rings. She will never come back.
Has she gone like Mother?
No, Violet. Your mother lies in the cemetery where we sometimes carry the flowers. Teresa is not there, but you have to think of her as there, though she has no need of flowers. Listen to me, children. When God takes people to heaven, then we carry flowers to their graves. But when people die because they love dark ways better than light, then we do not remember them. We do not talk about them.
But, sir...
No, Arthur, not one word. Your sister's name has been spoken in this house for the last time. She is gone. And nothing of mine shall she ever touch again.
Every picture of her was destroyed. Her name cut from the leaves of books. The little tokens she had given us children were surreptitiously taken away. We began to realize we had indeed lost her. And then there was that terrible threat.
You hear me well, Arthur. You hear me, Violet. Heed me, or you will go too.
My life is turned by overheard conversations. I was 16 before another such recalled memories of that awful night. I was strolling through a picture gallery.
Isn't that Violet Strange?
She'll never be the beauty her sister was.
Well, perhaps that's not to be deplored. Teresa made a great mess of it.
That's true. I hear that she and her senor have been seen lately here in town. In poverty, of course.
Well, that's no surprise, the poverty bit. He hadn't much go in him even as an ordinary singing master, let alone one for such airs.
You know, I never approved of Peter Strange's conduct at that time. He didn't handle her right. I do hope that one will be more tractable.
I never was tractable. In 5 minutes, I was changed from an irresponsible girl to a woman with a deliberate purpose in life. To find my sister.
That's the detective instinct coming out.
I hadn't up till then the least consciousness of possessing it. I heard she was working in a department store, and in my ignorance I looked first for the straight, slim, and exquisite woman I remembered.
You could never hope to spot her. You had to wait for her to recognize you.
Oh, the bargains I sought, the garments I tried on, the times I had my name spoken aloud at counters. Till the day a woman turned and gave me one look.
Violet? Teresa? Teresa, is it really you? I have been searching for some... Teresa, she has fainted. Someone, some smelling salts, some water. Here, help! Oh, there, my darling.
In the whole of New York, without help, you found her.
I did everything for her I shouldn't have done. The whole store thought me demented.
That's how discovery is, when you have the gift.
You are. Let me take you home, Teresa.
Home?
Oh, your home. I have my limousine just
Your
on the street.
limousine. Father's limousine, you mean to say. No, Violet, nothing of his is ever to be used for me again. You've heard that said, I'm sure and certain.
Well, take a cab then.
And who will pay?
I will, of course.
It would be his money, Violet. I can afford my 5-cent streetcar fare, but a lady like you cannot ride the car.
So I took her to a restaurant for food and talk.
I will have a little bread and butter and some tea.
We can do better than that. And you need some feeding up.
Celebrate my last day at the store. Toast me in tea. Chin chin.
I have $100 in bills in my bag, Teresa. Eat, for goodness sake, if not for your own.
Your money is of very little use to me, I'm afraid, Violet.
Well, I will dare Father's displeasure.
I chose my course in life. I have to abide by it. I can touch nothing that comes directly or indirectly from the Father who cast me out. Don't tempt me. It's more than I can bear.
What can I offer you then? What will you accept?
Your love.
God knows you have that.
It takes nothing from Father, and it goes some way to give me what my heart has yearned for. But no more, not another thing more.
You have his pride, his stubborn will.
So do you, little sister.
You're poor.
Yes.
And your husband, is he well?
He's dying.
Oh my God, Teresa.
Oh, don't worry. He would not be helped by any money, even such as I could take.
You had everything. You threw it all away. And for a man who's going to die.
You don't know him. You don't know me. He is the golden net in which my youth was caught and which holds me to this very day. He is all I have ever had. My streetcar's due. Here.
And I went home to all the luxuries of our father's house.
Did you ever meet the man? The senor?
No.
It would have been an interesting study to see what he had, what handsomeness, what charm, talent could tempt a girl to throw up everything.
I don't know. Whatever it may have been, it was the greatest gift of the gods. For it got him a wife with but $10 in the world, but a smile as beautiful as an angel.
But he died.
She mourned him. They had a single room, high up in a poor, noisome court it was no pleasure to enter. And it was there, the greatest moment of my life. It startled me as never the world's greatest singers had done.
It was your Teresa.
She had to start anew. She had but to sing.
Her husband was a singing teacher.
Yes, and he had trained her with love. My sister had the voice and the soul of a prima donna. All it would take. A year with some great maestro in the foreign atmosphere of art. All it would take was money.
But not Teresa's $10. Not hundreds even, thousands.
And the one sure source to which we might rightfully look for such an amount was closed to us by his own bitter will.
Nothing that is mine shall she ever touch again.
So that is why you work for me, Miss Violet Strange.
Every cent I have earned has gone to her.
You know, Driscoll complained to me that when he met you at the opera last week, you gave him scant attention. She was on the stage, wasn't she?
She made her home debut that very night.
I guess I can't criticize you then for unprofessional conduct.
Nor her. From now on, Mr. Cameron, you are the only one outside our family to share our secret. Someday my father will know it too. I hope he can be like Mr. Driscoll and come to love him.
Concluding this collection is a 1987 radio dramatization of Miss Pym Disposes by Josephine Tay, a psychological thriller from one of crime fiction's most original voices. Josephine Tay helped to bridge the gap between the Golden Age and modern crime fiction, breaking established conventions and turning her attention to psychological suspense and the complexities of human nature. First published in 1946, Miss Pym Disposes introduces Lucy Pym, a celebrated psychologist. Invited by her friend Henrietta Hodge to lecture at a woman's physical education college, Miss Pym little suspects that beneath the discipline and athleticism lies a mind capable of murder.
It is perfectly obvious I am here under false pretenses. And it's no good the producer making faces at me. It would be dishonest to say anything else. You see, I have come to the conclusion that as a psychologist, I am a very good teacher of French. I used to be a French teacher, you know, before I wrote the book. And it was because of the book that I found myself at Leys Women's College of Physical Training. You probably know it as PT. In a bedroom of the student wing, asleep.
Or trying to sleep. There never was such a place as Leys for bells. I mean, can you believe that any college, however physical and hearty, begins the day at 5:30? Well, Leys did. Though if the students had any sense, they did what I did that Saturday morning. Turned over and went back to sleep. Where was I? Oh, yes, the book. Well, to be fair, I never pretended to be an expert on psychology. I read a book on the subject out of curiosity. Then I read all the rest to see if they were just as silly. By the time I had read 37, I'd evolved ideas of my own. So I sat down and I wrote reams of refutal, which read quite learnedly because you can't talk about psychology in anything but jargon. There isn't any English for it. Then I wrote a note to the man in the flat below mine, asking him if he would mind not playing his wireless after 11 at night, because I found it so distracting. And I wrote the note on the back of a discarded sheet of the reams of refutal. My typing isn't very professional. And the man in the flat below turned out to be a publisher's reader, and was rather impressed by it. The reams of refutal, not the note. So I signed an agreement with the publisher, and somehow the book proved to be a bestseller. And I found myself famous. Well, learned societies kept asking me to lecture to them. And one of the invitations to lecture came from Henrietta Hodge, who was head girl at school when I was in the 4th form, and who once stood up for me when the 4th form wits discovered that my real name was Letitia. Oh, I was passionately grateful to Henrietta at the time, and I still am. Although, if I had known what was going to happen at Leys, I would never have accepted her invitation. I never really got used to those wretched bells. A born head girl, Henrietta. That's why she became principal of Leys, I suppose. By the time I'd been woken up twice, I was definitely looking forward to getting back to London. The third time was too much. It was 7:30, and I decided to get up. Maybe there was a train earlier than the 2:41 from Loughborough. I blessed the native caution that had prevented me from accepting Henrietta's invitation to stay a few days. If only I had stuck to that native caution. Oh, well. I was just wondering how I was going to find a bathroom when Henrietta came to rescue me. Except it wasn't Henrietta. It was a goddess with golden hair, a bright blue linen tunic, and the most enviable pair of legs. I always notice other women's legs, my own being a sad disappointment to me.
Oh, I am sorry. I forgot that you might not be up. In college we keep such odd hours.
Please don't mention it.
I do apologise for interrupting your dressing. Were you looking for this slipper?
Oh, that's where it is. Thank you. Silly little things, aren't they?
They're wonderful. Anyway, Miss Pym, my name is Pamela Nash, though most people here call me Beau. I'm the head senior. And I came to say that the senior students would be very honoured if you could come to tea with them tomorrow, in the garden.
Well, it's very kind of you, Miss Nash, but I shan't be here. I'm leaving this afternoon.
Oh no, Miss Pym, you mustn't. Oh, you have no idea what a godsend you are to us. It's so seldom that anyone interesting comes to stay. And this is the last term for us seniors, and everything's very grim and claustrophobic. Final exams and the demonstration and being found posts and whatnot, and...
What demonstration is that, Miss Nash? Surely not votes for women. That battle's been won.
No. It's a display of gymnastics by the seniors, when the exams are finished the week after next. In public. Quite nerve-wracking. We've been practising all term, and we're all feeling like death. And our last scrap of sense of proportion is gone. And then you come. A piece of the outside, a civilized being. The frock you wore last night did us more good than all the lectures we've ever heard.
Yes. It is rather nice, isn't it? Shockingly expensive.
Then you will stay?
No, really. No, I have other engagements, I'm afraid.
Yes, I see. Of course. Well,
Miss Nash, could you direct me to the, staff bathrooms?
Oh, yes, of course. Though the students' baths are nearer, if you don't object to using them. They're cubicles, of course. I mean, they have walls only part of the way up, and the floor is a sort of greenish concrete. But the water's the same.
Oh, I should be delighted. Thank you. As Miss Nash led me along corridors, I pondered her lack of any student-like reverence for the staff. I concluded from her charming air of social ease and equality that her family were well off. She was certainly a very striking girl, quite apart from her legs. Shouldn't you be at some class or another? I take it that if you are awakened at 5:30, you work before breakfast.
Oh, yes. I should be revising my physiology. Here are the bathrooms. I'm afraid you're going to be very late for breakfast.
Oh, dear.
Let me bring something up for you on a tray.
Oh, but I'm
sure it won't be any trouble. I'd love to do it. Do change your mind about staying. It really would give us more pleasure than you can imagine.
What a charming girl, I thought. So imaginative and kind. I even thought it might, after all, be nice to spend a day or two at Lay's. That bell settled it. I was definitely not staying a minute later than the 2:41 from Loughborough. Not 1 minute later.
Oh, darling, I'm going to be so late for breakfast. But I'm in a muck sweat, my dear. Oh. And Nigel sat down quietly and done the composition of plasma, of which I know absolutely nothing, my dear. And final phase is on Tuesday, but it is such a lovely morning. Oh, Donny, darling, I've left my soap behind. Do throw me over yours. You'll have to wait till I finish with it. Well, my angel, do be quick. Oh, I don't know when I'm going to do that plasma. As for the coat or the stomach, they simply baffle me, my dear. I really don't believe there are 4, anyhow. It's just a conspiracy. Miss Lux says look at tripe, but But I don't see that tripe proves anything.
Is soap coming up?
Oh, thank you, darling. You saved my life. Oh, what a nice smell, my dear. Very expensive. Who's next door to me, Donny?
I don't know, Gage, probably.
Is that you, Green Gage?
No, it's Miss Pym.
Oh, no, but really, who is it?
Miss Pym.
It's a very good imitation, whoever you are.
It's Little John. She does imitations.
Is it you, John?
Oh!
Oh! Catastrophe! Oh, Miss Pym! Oh, dear, Miss Pym, I do apologise. I abase myself. It didn't occur to me to even think it might be you. Oh, I hope you're not offended. Not terribly, I mean. We are so used to people's skins that...
I quite understand. In any case, it's entirely my own fault for occupying a student's bathroom. Please, don't worry about it for a minute.
But I shall never be able to look you in the face.
I expect Miss Pym is taking the first train back to London.
That is O'Donnell opposite. She's from Ireland.
Ulster. You must think this is a mad house, Miss Pym. But don't judge us by Dacres, please. Some of us are quite grown up. And some of us are even civilised. When you come to tea tomorrow, you'll see.
Well, actually...
Oh, Lord, the breakfast gong! Oh, I'm going to be so late! Donny, I'm so grateful for the soap. It saved my life. Dear Miss Pym, we're all looking forward so much to tea tomorrow.
But I'm catching the 2:41 from Loughborough.
I'm so glad you decided to stay for the weekend after all, Lucy. The students are a varied and lively crowd, and the work is very interesting.
They seem to work awfully hard, Henrietta.
Oh, they do. Now, this afternoon, we have a cricket match against Coombe. I can't remember if you like cricket, Lucy.
I can only watch cricket if I have a bag of cherries.
You're still as flippant as ever, I see. I'll send Destero to keep you company.
Who is Destero?
A South American. She doesn't play games.
Oh.
Ah, Miss Nash, I'd like you to ask Destero to entertain Miss Pym when she comes back from her class in Loughborough.
Yes, Miss Hodge.
I'll see you at supper then, Lucy.
Yes, but...
Don't worry, Miss Pym. The nut tart will look after you splendidly.
Not that I needed looking after. I liked my own company very well. However, I was looking forward to meeting a nut tart. Now, why on earth did they call her that, I wondered? Since she was South American, nut could be Brazil, but tart, surely not. However, when she appeared, I began to understand. The other girls were far too austere to wear flowered frocks, cut so revealingly, too.
Good afternoon, Miss Pym. I am Teresa Destero. You do not care for cricket?
No, not really. How is it that you don't play, Mr. Stero?
I don't play any games. To run about after a little ball is supremely ridiculous. I came here for the dancing. It is a very good dancing college.
And will you teach then when you go back to, Brazil, is it?
Oh, no. I shall get married. I came here to England because I had an unhappy love affair. He was ravishing, but quite unsuitable. So I went to my grandmother and I cried all over her best silk chairs and I said, what shall I do? About my lover, you understand.
Of course.
And she said, you can blow your nose and get out of the country. You can go to England and swear a bit. My grandmother is English, of course.
I see.
So, as I always listened to her, I came here to Lace. They looked a little sideways on me at first when I said I wanted just to dance.
Yes, I was wondering about that.
But one of the students had broken down in the middle of her training. They often do. And do you wonder? So they said, oh well, let this crazy woman, this nut from Brazil, have Kenyon's room and allow her to come to the classes.
And have you enjoyed it?
It has been a liberal education. They are very naive, these English girls. They have raves. They swoon if Madame Lefebvre says a kind word to them. Madame Lefebvre is the dancing teacher and very strict. I swoon too, but it is from surprise. Have you come to use us as specimens, Miss Pym?
Oh, no, I'm on a holiday visit. In any case, I doubt whether as a specimen a physical training student is likely to be psychologically interesting.
No? Why?
Oh, too normal and too nice. Too much of a type.
Oh.
You don't agree?
I am trying to think of someone, some senior, who is normal. It is not easy. Look at poor Kenyon.
The girl whose place you took. What exactly happened to her?
A crise de nerfs. She had a breakdown. It would be difficult for any of them to go through the training here and be quite normal in their last term.
Oh, come. Do you suggest that Miss Nash is not normal?
Oh, Bo. She is a strong-minded creature and so has suffered less, perhaps. Besides, her people are rich, quite rich, you know. They have a butler.
I thought as much.
But would you call Bo Nash's friendship for Mary Innes quite normal? Nice, of course. Quite irreproachable. But normal? No. That David and Jonathan relationship, it excludes so much.
I shall reserve judgment until I've had a chance to observe them properly. But what about Miss Dacres? I mean, what would you say was wrong with her?
Arrested development.
Oh, nonsense. A happy, simple, uncomplicated human being enjoying herself and the world. Quite normal.
Very well, Miss Pym. I give you Dacres. But I remind you that this is their last term, So everyone is just the least little bit insane.
Oh,
no, it is true, I promise you. If a student is frightened by nature, then she is 1,000 times more frightened this term. If she is ambitious, then her ambition becomes a passion. It is not a normal life they lead. You cannot expect them to be normal.
But on the following afternoon, at tea time, I looked round me at a crowd of happy and excessively normal young faces. The only face that approached distinction, as opposed to good looks, was that of Mary Innes, Bo Nash's Jonathan. Not that Miss Innes was particularly good-looking. Her eyebrows were low over her eyes and gave her face an intensity, a brooding expression. As a matter of fact, I had long prided myself on my analysis of facial characteristics, and I decided that Mary Innes's face was not a contemporary one at all. It was round faces like hers that history was built. Hers were the sort of eyebrows that sent their owners to the stake.
You cannot expect them to be normal.
However, Mary Innes's face was not unlikable. In fact, all the faces round me were likable. That is, until Miss Rouse.
You must
arrived.
say the piece.
Good cook.
I'm afraid I'm late.
Swat.
Miss Pym, let me introduce Miss Rouse.
Oh, how do you do, Miss Pym?
How do you do?
Miss Pym, you haven't had any of my cake.
Oh, well, thank you, Miss Dacres. Do you always bring your own cake to Sunday tea?
Oh, no, this is in your honour.
Oh. What you see before you, Miss Pym, is a collection of skeletons out of cupboards. There's no physical training student who is not a secret eater.
Oh, you're so right. There has been no moment in my whole college career, my dears, when I wasn't sick with hunger.
That's why our only crime is ouch.
Oh, sorry, Rouse. Did I kick you?
We had a solemn conclave as to whether we ought to dress for you, Miss Pym.
But we decided that you didn't look very particular. Oh, in the very nicest sense, I mean.
Besides, every moment counts with our finals so near. And one needs 5 full minutes to achieve Sunday best.
You do seem to work most awfully hard, but presumably you don't do so much physical work during the final exam week.
The PT demonstration's only a fortnight away, you see.
Oh, I don't know which I dread more, final exams or the dem.
Right. All our parents come, and people from rival colleges, and all the civic swells of Loughborough.
It's murder.
I like the dem. I think it's fun to show people what we can do. Is there any tea left?
It'll be a bit stewed.
I found the students' collective attitude to Miss Rouse fascinating. Not exactly inimical, merely detached. Rouse herself didn't seem to notice.
What really is murder is waiting to see what you pull out of the post lottery.
What do you mean, jobs? But why a lottery? You know what you apply for, surely.
Oh, very few of us need to apply. Schools that have had Lay's gymnasts before just write to Miss Hodge when they have a vacancy and ask her to recommend someone.
So you see, the most agonising moment of the whole term is when you're summoned to Miss Hodge's room and told what your fate is going to be.
It's not really as grim as it sounds, though. Quite a few of us are provided for already. For instance, I'm going back to my old school as games coach. And the nut, Destero, of course, doesn't want a post. So there aren't so many of us to find places for.
Thank goodness for that.
Henrietta, what is the college crime?
My dear Lucy, what made you think of that subject?
Well, something someone said at tea this afternoon about their only crime. It was something to do with being perpetually hungry.
Oh, that! Food pilfering. Yes, we do now and then have that. It's not a sign of vice, you know, merely of a weak will. They use up so much energy that their bodies are crying out for sugar.
Yes, they certainly do work hard. What proportion of any one set finishes the course, would you say?
Of this lot? 80% are finishing. That's about average.
The girl whose place Teresa Destero took, Miss Kenyon. Now, what happened to her?
Kenyon had a breakdown. Let me get you a cup of coffee.
I recognized that tone. It was Henrietta's head girl voice. It did not permit of further discussion. As I sat by the open window, sipping my coffee and listening to that frank young voice singing for the love of it, I realized I had been too long in London. I should have a change. Find a hotel on the south coast, perhaps, or go abroad. One forgets that the world is young.
And what do you think of our students, Miss Pym, now you've had a whole afternoon with them?
I was just thinking, Ma'am Lefebvre, that it was one of the nicest afternoons I have ever spent.
They are a nice lot.
They are as the beasts that perish, Miss Rag. They think that Botticelli is a variety of spaghetti. When it comes to that, they don't know what spaghetti is. It's not long since I informed them during a dietetics lecture that spaghetti and its relations were made from a paste of flour. And that shattered forever, apparently, David's picture of Italy.
And how had she pictured it?
Fields of waving macaroni, so she said.
Well, at least they are free from crime.
Crime?
Yes, Miss Rag. Miss Pym has just been inquiring about the incidence of crime at Lay's. That is what it is to be a psychologist.
Oh, no, Miss Pym. We are an unsensational crowd.
Too normal by half. A little spot of scandal would be nice now and again. Change from handstands and upward circlings.
Oh, now I should like to see some handstands and some upward circlings. Would that be all right if I come and watch the seniors tomorrow morning?
But of course you must. They're busy with their demonstration program, so it will be a private demonstration just for you. They're one of the best sets we've ever had.
Oh, Miss Hodge, can I have first go of the gym when the seniors are doing the final fizz on Tuesday?
Oh, yes. Let's just discuss the timetable for a moment. Excuse us, will you, Lucy?
Yes, of course I will. May I say, Miss Pym, how much I liked your book? So commonsensical. I'm Catherine Lux. I teach the theoretical subjects here.
Thank you very much, Miss Lux. A colleague's praise is always the most gratifying.
Yes, listen, Miss Pym, you could save my life if you like to. I want to go to a conference in London on Thursday, but that is the day of my psychology lecture. Miss Hodge thinks I'm forever going to conferences, so I can't possibly beg off again. But if you were to take the lecture for me, everything would be grand.
Oh, but I'm going back to London myself tomorrow after lunch.
Oh, no, do you have to?
Oddly enough, I was just thinking how much I should hate going back.
Then don't! Stay for a day or two and save my life.
Well, this set of seniors are planting themselves out very nicely, don't you agree, Henrietta? Almost without our help. There will be less heartburning than usual.
It continually surprises me how each year the openings come up as the students are ready to fill them. So satisfactory. I don't think we've had a misfit in all my years at Lay's. I have heard rumours of a plum, by the way. A really wonderful chance for someone.
Oh, do tell.
No. I've had no official application yet, so it's best not to talk about it.
Well, I'm going to bed. You're not leaving before lunch tomorrow, are you, Miss Pym?
I was actually wondering if I might stay on for a day or two. You did ask me to stay, Henrietta, and it has been nice, you know. I mean, it is interesting to watch a world so different.
Yes.
Oh, I don't like it.
Listen, why don't you stay on till Thursday and take my senior psychology lecture and let me go to a conference in London?
Oh, well, I'm not...
Miss Lux is always running away to conferences. But of course we would be delighted, Lucy, if you'd agree to give the students a second lecture.
Oh, I should like to. It would be nice to feel myself a temporary member of the staff. I should like to very much.
Excellent. Right.
Do you really like this menagerie, Miss Pym, or are you just looking for psychological subjects?
Someone else asked me that today, Miss Lux. But a college of physical training wouldn't be a very good place to look for the abnormal, would it?
Why not? Sweating oneself into a coma doesn't destroy the emotions.
Doesn't it? If I were dog-tired, I wouldn't have any feelings about anything but going to sleep.
Going to sleep dead tired is all right. It's when one wakens up dead tired that the trouble begins.
And is that a common thing, would you say?
I should say that 5 seniors out of 6 in their last term are so tired that each morning is a mild nightmare. And when one is as tired as that, one's emotional state ceases to be normal.
Our last scrap of sense of proportion is gone.
Everyone is just the least little bit insane.
Kenyon had a breakdown.
One's emotional state ceases to be normal.
It's murder. I had a vision of that circle of faces at tea time. Brown, laughing, happy, confident, tired to the point of abnormality. No, I couldn't believe it. And I was pleased that I wasn't going to catch the train the next day. It was nice to be liked. All the same, it's a pity that some premonition didn't tell me to catch that train after all. But of course, no self-respecting psychologist would have anything to do with a thing so outmoded as premonition.
Come in for a moment while I arrange this morning's post, Lucy, and then I'll go over to the gymnasium with you.
All right.
Now, Miss Meek, the letters are all quite straightforward, I think.
Oh, yes, Miss Hodge. I'll get on with them at once. There was a letter from Arlinghurst. It doesn't seem to be here.
No, that can be answered later in the week.
Arlinghurst? Is that the...
Right, Lucy, if you're ready, I'll be back in an hour, Miss Meek.
Yes, Miss Hodge.
Come along, Lucy.
Yes, Henrietta. Now that was very interesting. Arlinghurst is a sort of female Eton, the school for girls. If that was the plum that Henrietta had been waiting for, then it would indeed create a stir among the seniors. However, the expression on Henrietta's face was somehow guilty. The look of a person who is up to something.
We go up to the gymnasium gallery by this staircase. By the way, you see that machine? That is our vacuum cleaner, the most famous college character of all, known as the Abhorrence. Oh, nature abhors a vacuum, you know.
It's very well named.
Oh, it's unbelievably powerful. Giddy the gardener, who cleans the gym, says that when he has finished, there's nothing left but the fixtures. He is very proud of the Abhorrence. This way.
Do the students mind an audience?
They are very used to one. Hardly a day goes by without a visitor. Ah, here's Fröken Gustafsson, our gymnastics instructor. You didn't meet her last night, did you?
Attention! If Miss Torres were to pull in her stomach, the line would be improved, I think. And Miss Dacres shows too much
scarcely seemed possible to march more quietly or lightly, but apparently it was. I slid an eye round to Henrietta, and instantly switched it away again. The fond pride on her large, pale countenance was startling, almost painful to see. I hadn't realized how much she identified with her work. Below us, the students were erecting a wooden upright in the middle of the floor and fitting 2 heavy bars, the booms, into its grooved sides, hoisting them as high as they could reach. Then the iron pins were shot home in the upright to secure the booms. The instrument of torture was ready.
Next!
2 by 2, 1 at each end, the students travel along the booms, hanging by their hands monkey-wise.
Next, Miss Rouse.
Oh, Frogan, I'm not going to be able to do it.
Nonsense, Miss Rouse. You have done rotatory traveling perfectly since you were a junior. You can do it now, of course.
I knew it. I'm going to be like Kenyon, Frogan. Just like Kenyon.
Miss Rouse, you are not going to be like anyone. It is a knack that. For a moment you have lost the knack, that is all. You will try again. Very well, Miss Rouse, that will do. 1/2 of the boom will be put up last thing at night as it is now, and you will come in the morning early and practice rotatory traveling until the knack has come back. Reverse the booms now.
Poor Rouse. Yes, such a pity. One of our most brilliant students.
Brilliant?
In physical work, anyhow, most brilliant. She finds written work a difficulty, but she tries very hard. A model student and a great credit to Lays.
What did she mean by being like Kenyon? She's the girl who had the breakdown, isn't she?
Yes. Kenyon suddenly decided that she couldn't balance. She found it impossible to get up from a sitting position on the boom. Just sat there and cried. We're hoping that she'll come back when she's had a rest. She was so happy here.
So happy that she broke down. Below us, the students were performing the exercise that had been poor Kenyon's Waterloo. 2 by 2, they somersaulted upwards onto the narrow ledge of the high boom, turned to a sitting position sideways, and slowly stood up. Slowly one leg lifted, the arms performed their appointed evolution. The faces were calm, intent, the bodies obedient, sure, accustomed. When the exercise was finished, they sank until they were sitting on their heels, upright and easy. Put forward blind hands to seize the boom, descended to sideways sitting, and from there to a forward somersault and so to the ground again. No one fluffed, no one failed. The perfection was unblemished. Oh, that was lovely, Henrietta. At school the balance was much lower, wasn't it? Not so exciting.
Sometimes I come in just to see the balance and nothing else. Of course, many people like the more spectacular items, the vaulting and so on.
Well, the vaulting was spectacular enough. The obstacles horrific. And Miss Rouse's performance was brilliant. I mean, Henrietta had been right. Still, brilliant. To me, that meant someone like Bonash. An all-round fineness. Body, mind, and spirit. As Henrietta and I emerged from the gallery's staircase, the students were running from the gymnasium door.
Oh, Miss Rose! Excuse me a moment, Lucy.
Now, if it had been me, I'd have bolted, but not Rouse. She was positively hanging back in order to lap up Henrietta's words of wisdom. That's what we used to call at school, being Somali. I could not like Miss Rouse. It was a pity because I'd always liked freckles. But really, Considering that she had just failed to perform a routine exercise, she had no right whatsoever to be looking smug. However, by Wednesday morning, no one was looking smug. The college was in the throes of final examinations.
Good luck, Bo. And you, Miss Innes, very good luck. Although you neither of you need it.
Oh, not at all. I need all the luck I can get. Mary doesn't need any, though.
Nonsense, Bo. Oh, good morning, Miss Pym.
Good morning, Mary. Bo, good luck for the exam.
Thank you. Come along, Mary. It wouldn't do to be late.
Miss Pym, let us run away together. Let's go to the village. We can have some coffee at the teapot.
I beg your pardon?
It is a coffee house with delicious cakes.
Oh, I see. Are you not taking any of the exams, Mr. Sterro?
Anatomy I shall take, I think. Just, as you say, for the hell of it. Besides, it is a subject that does not get out of date. Now, your subject, if you will forgive me, Miss Pym, is continually getting out of date, no? An idea today may be nonsense tomorrow, but a clavicle is a clavicle for all time. You see?
The teapot was quite frankly charming, with a rich scent of spiced cakes straight from the oven. The coffee was good, too.
A very little milk, please, Miss Pym. She is beautiful, Mary Innes. Don't you think so?
Well, I hadn't thought of her as exactly beautiful. Those eyebrows.
When I first came to Lace, it was raining, and everyone was rushing around college talking about horrors and hockey sticks. And then I saw this girl, Innes, who was not running about and not talking, and who looked a little like my great-grandmother's grandmother, whose picture is in the dining room at home. So I said, this place is not after all a barbarism. If it were, that girl would not be here. I shall stay. Oh, excellent cake. Don't you think so, Miss Pym? She is not only beautiful, Mary Innes. She is the only beautiful person at Lace.
Oh, what about Bo Nash?
In England at Christmas time, the magazines give away bright, pretty pictures. Very shiny they are, with...
Oh, now that is sheer libel. Bo is quite lovely, and you know it.
But glossy. Of course, her people have money, while the Innes father is a poor country doctor. I believe he wanted Mary to take a medical training, but Mary has other ideas. She's ambitious, that one.
And any ambition she has will not be lightly given up, judging by her eyebrows. It's strange that she should have reminded you of someone in a portrait. That's how she seemed to me, too.
Ah, yes. My great-grandmother's grandmother. She was a little unpopular. Her husband died too conveniently.
Goodness. You mean she murdered him?
Oh, no. There was no scandal. It was just that he died too conveniently. He drank too much and was a great gambler. And not very attractive. And there was a loose thread at the top of the stairs. He stepped on it one day when he was drunk, that's all.
And did she marry again?
Oh, no. She was not in love with anyone else. She had a son to bring up, and the estates were safe for him now that there was no one to gamble them away. She was a very good estate manager.
As we made our way back to Lays, I remember wondering how it was that the nut tart managed to make me feel young, inexperienced, and foolish. Me, Lucy Pym, author of the book, recognized authority on the working of the human mind. I wasn't sure I liked the feeling, though I couldn't help liking the nut tart. However, I had been right about Mary Innes's eyebrows. I decided that if psychology ever went out of fashion, I should write a book about face reading, under another name. The week of examinations ground on, and somehow I was still at Lays. On Friday, I invigilated the senior pathology examination. Miss Rouse was looking worried, but she looked better worried than smug, I thought. Innes was looking awfully tired. After 15 minutes or so, I noticed that Miss Rouse no longer looked worried. She looked furtive. Why? At that moment she caught my eye and looked quickly away. The furtive expression had gone. What had taken its place was one labelled consciously carefree. I knew all about that expression. I hadn't been form mistress of the lower fourth for nothing. Every eater of illicit sweets wore that expression. So did those who were cheating in exams. I waited. The next time I looked up, it was straight at Rouse. Her head was low over her paper, and in her left hand she held a handkerchief. Not a common object at Lay's. She was at the back of the room. So I strolled down and stood leaning against the wall behind her, and I watched a deep blush suffuse her sandy neck. Presently, she put away the handkerchief and whatever else the hand contained into her tunic pocket. The students gave me their completed papers and went off to the gym. Rouse was the last to go. After delivering the work to Miss Lux, I decided to go for a walk. As I went down the covered way by the gymnasium, my eye caught a spot of colour in the grass by the path. It was a tiny address book, not much bigger than a postage stamp, the leaves crowded with tiny writing. It was an aide-memoire to pathology. I had been right. And the comprehensiveness of it, the premeditation. It was cold-blooded insurance against failure.
If a student is ambitious, then her ambition becomes a passion.
However, there was no name in the little red book, no proof that it belonged to Rouse. If I handed it over to Henrietta, what would happen? No one would claim it, and Henrietta would be faced with the fact that one of her seniors had prepared a précis that could be conveniently palmed at an examination. On the other hand, if nothing was ever said about it, then Rouse's punishment would be a perpetual and lifelong doubt as to what had become of it. I walked down to the stream, leaned over the bridge, and dropped the little object into the water. I wondered how Rouse had managed in the other exams. Were there other little red books? I went to have a look at the results on the notice board. Rouse had scraped 3 firsts out of 3 tries.
Oh, Miss Pym, thank you for invigilating. It helped me get the hygiene results done. There.
Well, Barbara Rouse, 81. Another first.
Yeah, surprising, isn't it? But she works like a Trojan.
I see Mary Innes is top again. She seems to make a habit of heading the lists.
With an intelligence like Innes's, one could head lists far more thrilling than these. That's a waste. Shall we go into lunch?
I somehow don't think that Rouse will get 81 for today's paper.
Why? Was she in difficulties?
Bogged down. At lunch, Henrietta informed the staff that she had found posts for 2 more students. Miss Ragg made the standard announcement.
Miss Hodge will see Miss Thomas and Miss Dacres in her office when luncheon is over.
But there was no mention of Arlinghurst. That is, until Saturday afternoon. I was passing the bathrooms. The seniors had returned from an evidently successful away match.
Have you heard, my dear Arlinghurst? What? Arlinghurst! I can't hear with the plastic water. Oh, where did you say? Arlinghurst! I don't believe it. They don't send fast posters to Arlinghurst. It's true. Who do you think they'll give it to? Oh, that's easy. Innes, of course. Innes. Well, she deserves it. Yes, and it is a sort of communal honour. Yes. Decoration for Lane. Arlinghurst, my hat.
As I walked on along the corridor, I met Innes herself, and Innes transformed, radiant,
sorry about the row, Miss Pym. It's a pea and a praise that they will never have to live this week again.
You look happy, Mary.
To use a phrase of O'Donnell's, I wouldn't call the king my cousin. There's going to be a party tonight for people who've got posts. You are coming, aren't you? After all, you're not really staff.
Thank you. I'd love to.
I decided to go over to the staff drawing room and see if there was any tea left. That was how I walked into a row of a different sort. A row of unholy proportions.
It's monstrous, monstrous. Very nearly criminal.
Mary, don't be absurd.
Henrietta, you propose to palm off an inferior product on someone who expects the best. And you propose at the same time to lower the credit of Lays so that it will take 20 years to recover. And for what, I ask you? Just to satisfy some whim of your own.
I fail to see where the whim comes in. No one here can deny that Miss Rouse is a brilliant student, that she has worked hard and deserved her reward. Even her theoretical work has been consistently good this term.
Not consistently. According to the paper I corrected last night, she couldn't even get a second in pathology.
Oh, dear, well, that is a pity. She was doing so much better than I dared to hope.
The girl is a moron, and you know it.
But this is nonsense. I don't know why you are all so stubbornly against her. She has been a model student, and no one has ever said a word against her until now. And now you are all suddenly furious. Firkin, surely you will bear me out. You can never have had a better pupil than Miss Rouse.
Miss Rouse is a very good gymnast. She is also, I understand from Miss Ragg, a very fine games player. But when she goes out from this place, these things will not matter any longer. What will matter then is character. And what Miss Rouse has of character is neither very much nor very admirable.
Firkin, I thought you liked her. Did you?
Well, you asked, Henrietta, and you've certainly been told. I couldn't have put it better myself.
Perhaps, it is for gymnastics they want her, so perhaps Rouse wouldn't be too bad?
Doreen, my pet, what they are looking for is not someone who wouldn't be too bad. What they are looking for is someone so outstanding that she can step straight from college to be one of the 3 gymnasts at the best girls' school in England. Does that sound like Miss Rouse, do you think?
No, I suppose not. It does sound like Innes, I must admit.
Quite so. It does sound like Innes. And it is beyond the wit of man why it doesn't sound like Innes to Miss Hodge.
I've told you. There's a vacancy at the Wycherley Orthopaedic Hospital that would be ideal for Miss Innes.
Oh.
She is excellent at medical work. Anyway, it is for me to make decisions here, and in this case, I have made it.
Just a minute, Henrietta. Let us ask the outsider and the trained psychologist. Let us ask Miss Pym.
Oh, but I am not a trained psychologist.
Just tell us what you think, Miss Pym. After a mere week among us, you cannot be accused of bias.
Oh, well, it certainly surprises me that Miss Hodge should think of giving the appointment to Rouse. I don't think she is, In fact, I think she would be quite the wrong person.
Ha! Wonderful what a pretty face can do to influence people.
Oh, dear.
I thought I knew all about Henrietta.
Well, I thought one could trust her to do justice. Do you think she will come to her senses when she has had time to think it over?
She has had it settled in her mind for nearly a week. By now it has become established fact. It is shocking that Henrietta, the shrewd Henrietta, who built this place up into what it is, should be so blind, so utterly devoid of the most elementary judgment. It's fantastic.
If Madame can't do anything to influence Miss Hodge, well, I don't see that anyone else can.
The trouble is she really sees Rouse as everything that is admirable and deserving, and thinks that we are prejudiced and oppositious. Well, how can one alter a thing like that?
You know that the students take it for granted that Innes will get the post.
Yes, it was a natural thing to think.
We all took it for granted. Oh, I wish someone could change Miss Hodge's point of view.
It was just possible that I might. I remembered the odd guilty look on Henrietta's face the previous Monday morning when her secretary mentioned the Arlinghurst letter. She knew then that Innes had a prior claim. What could it be about Rouse to unseat Henrietta's solid judgment? Maybe she identified Rouse with herself. Unconsciously, of course. I mean, after all, Henrietta was plain, unloved, and ambitious, too. Anyway, it was my duty to put certain facts before her.
Lucy, are you trying to tell me that you found Miss Rouse obtaining help during an examination?
She did her best. I managed to prevent her using it.
Using what?
The little book.
You mean that you saw a student using a book at an examination and said nothing about it?
No, of course not. It was only afterwards that I knew about the book. All that I knew at the time was that there was something she was trying to refer to. She had a handkerchief in her left hand, and she had that bag of sweets under the desk look that you know as well as I do.
But how did you know about the book?
I found it lying by the path to the gymnasium. It was a tiny address book filled with pathology notes.
An address book?
Yes, A. arthritis and so on.
And there was a name in the book?
No.
I see. Then you had better bring it to me, and we will take the proper steps to have the owner identified.
I haven't got it, Henrietta. I drowned it.
You what?
I dropped it into the stream by the games field.
That was surely a very extraordinary thing to do.
I suppose it was impetuous.
So, there is not one iota of evidence to connect the book with Miss Rouse?
No, there is only presumption, but the presumption is very strong. You yourself told me that Rouse finds written work extraordinarily difficult.
So do a great many others.
Yes, but they don't particularly care as long as they struggle through. But Rouse is brilliant at practical work, and it galls her to be an also-ran in examinations. Hence the little book.
Psychological theorizing.
Maybe. But that is what Madame Lefebvre asked me to do. You, Henrietta, supposed that I had based my opinion on a mere prejudice. I thought you ought to know that I had some better foundation for my theorizing. As one friend to another, Henrietta, I don't understand why you even consider sending Rouse to Arlinghurst when you have someone as suitable as Mary Innes.
I don't think you know much about Innes. Oh. Because she has a brilliant mind and good looks, you credit her with all the other virtues. Virtues that she quite definitely does not possess. Her very brilliance is a drawback in that it makes it difficult for her to suffer fools gladly.
She's very popular with her colleagues.
She is not so popular with children, unfortunately. They find her intimidating. If you look at the reports on her work with outside classes, you will find that the word antagonistic appears again and again.
Maybe it's just those eyebrows.
Eyebrows?
Or perhaps she has an inner doubt about herself. I mean, that is the usual explanation of antagonism as an attitude.
I find psychologists' explanations a little too glib. Now, Miss Rouse puts herself to great pains to be adaptable and pleasant and acceptable to people. And with her pupils, she succeeds. Her reports from her classes are excellent. There is no reason why Rouse should not go to Arlinghurst with my warm recommendation.
Except that she is dishonest.
There, you see! That is a sample of what the unattractive girl has to struggle against. You think that 1 out of a score of girls has tried to cheat, and you pick on Rouse. Why?
There is just one point, Henrietta.
Yes?
Rouse managed to get her first in all her finals so far.
Yes?
It's odd, isn't it? Because on the occasion when someone was prevented from using the little red book, Rouse couldn't even get a second. Let her stew over that, I thought. I was very angry. But then, anger gave way to depression. How was I going to face the gathering of the seniors, let alone Innes herself? However, I was determined that the party should seem like a celebration.
As
As I live and breathe champagne! Oh, Miss Pym, you are a puppet!
It'll be sacrilege to drink it out of tooth glasses. Oh, by the way, Miss Pym, Bo and Innes wanted us to tell you how sorry they are to miss the party. Bo's people turned up unexpectedly and took them out.
Ah, that is what it is to own a Rolls. I say, Donnie isn't here yet. I hope she's all right. She hasn't got a post yet, you know.
I expect she's helping Rouse to put up the boom.
She can't be. It's Saturday. Even a PT student stops work on a Sunday. Even Rouse.
Is Miss Rouse still practising rotatory travelling?
Oh, yes. She will be up to the day of the Dem.
When does she find the time?
She goes in the morning, before first class.
6 o'clock? Horrible.
At least one is fresh.
And you can have the gym to yourself. Sorry I'm late, everybody. Oh, there you are, Donnie. Good. Now we can open Miss Pym's bottle. Good heavens, champagne.
At lunch next day, the students were more excited than I had ever seen them. It was clear that at the slightest provocation, they would burst into a cheer. At last, Henrietta folded her napkin and rose.
Miss Ragg?
Yes, Miss Hodge.
Miss Hodge will see Miss Rouse in her office when luncheon is over.
I fled as soon as I could, with thoughts of comforting myself at the teapot. The sunlight was so bright that I didn't see Bo standing in the shadow under the willows until I was almost upon her. She was watching me come.
Did you know about this appointment?
Yes, I heard the staff talking about it.
When?
Yesterday.
It would have been kind if someone had warned Innes. It isn't very nice to have your teeth kicked in public.
Bo, I realise that you are very angry, but think. It would have been disloyal to mention it before Miss Hodge had announced her decision. For all I knew, she might have altered that decision. When I left her, it was still possible.
You argued with her about it? You didn't approve of her choice, then?
Of course not. You might as well know that the staff feel about it very much as you do. I have been desolated ever since I first heard of it. But as to warning anyone...
A clever woman like you could have thought of something. Anything to make the shock less shattering.
Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. Where is Miss Innes?
I don't know. She ran straight out of the college before I could catch her up.
Are you worried about her?
Of course I'm worried about her. Innes has always cared too much about things. When we were juniors, and Madame used to blister us with her sarcasm. Madame can be simply unspeakable, you know. Some of the others cried, but Innes never did. She just burned up inside. It's bad for you to burn up inside. I think I'll go upstream a little. She may be there. If I was rude, do forgive me.
I went on towards my sort of comfort at the teapot.
Miss Pym!
Oh, hello.
We were just talking of you. And Rick was saying how much he would like to meet you. And here you are. It is magic. This is my cousin, Richard Gillespie. He was christened Ricardo, but he thinks his house too like a cinema star.
Order gigolo. How do you do, Miss Pym?
How do you do?
We've just ordered some tea and rarebit. Sit down while I go and ask for another portion.
Thank you. That sounds delicious. Your cousin is English then, Teresa?
Oh, yes. We are not what you call first cousins. Rick, what is saffron dough cake?
Whatever it is, you shall have some. Teresa is the loveliest person to take out to a meal. She eats like a starved lion. My other women friends spend the whole evening reckoning the calories.
Your other women friends have not spent 12 months at Lace being fed on beans. What is Arlinghurst?
It's the best girls' school in England. Why?
It is the college excitement at the moment. One of our students is going there. One would think she had at least been made a dame to listen to them.
A legitimate reason for excitement, it seems to me.
Yes? It really is an honour, then?
A very great one, I imagine. Isn't it, Miss Pym?
Very.
Oh, well. If it is an honour for Innes, then I am glad.
Were you not at lunch today?
No. Rick came with his car and we went to the Saracen's Head. Why?
It isn't Inez who's going to Arlinghurst.
But they all said she was. Who is going then?
Rouse.
Oh, no. No, that I refuse to believe.
Well, it's true, I'm afraid.
You mean they have preferred that canaille, that espionage?
Teresa!
No, if I were not a lady, I would spit.
Monday was an anticlimax. Only one incident occurred to enliven the monotony of routine. This was Henrietta's offer to Inez of the post at the Wycherley Orthopaedic Hospital and Inez's refusal of it. O'Donnell, much relieved, accepted it. Inez was looking desperately ill. Watching her, I understood what Beau meant by burning up inside. I may have a C3 intelligence and childish impulses, but I know tragedy when I see it. On Friday, demonstration morning, I was actually awake before the 5:30 bell. Demonstration day nerves. I watched Giddy the gardener walk past on his way to the gymnasium, and presently I could hear the faint whine of the abhorrence. I decided to get dressed and go for a walk. By the time I reached the gymnasium, Giddy had finished his cleaning, and Rouse must have performed her morning routine. I could see faint, damp marks from her gym shoes on the concrete path. In the gym, the single boom that Rouse used swam in the shadows. Underneath, there was something bright winking on the floor. It was a small filigree rosette made of silvery metal. I knew what it came from. All the best people had them when I was a child. Leather pumps with elastic that crisscrossed over the ankle, and a tiny silver filigree rosette on each toe. Who at Lay's had a pair of those pumps? Rouse, perhaps. The rosette must have been dropped that very morning, or the abhorrence would have sucked it up.
It's unbelievably powerful. When Giddy has finished, he says there's nothing left but the fixtures.
At breakfast in the dining hall, I noticed a gap in the pattern of students. Henrietta's small elephant eye noticed it too.
Miss Nash?
Yes, Miss Hodge?
Why has Miss Rouse not come to breakfast?
I don't know, Miss Hodge. I sent a junior to her room, but she isn't there.
Does anyone know where Miss Rouse is? Has anyone seen her this morning? Very well, Miss Nash. Birkin, you and I will go to the gymnasium.
Of course, on my way upstairs to make my bed, I realised that I could have told them that Rouse wasn't in the gym. Silly of me. I went down to the staff drawing room. Miss Lux was alone.
Has Rouse turned up yet?
Yes.
Where was she?
In the gymnasium with a fractured skull.
But how? What happened?
The pin that holds the boom wasn't properly in. She jumped up to it and it came down on her head.
Oh, good heavens.
Fröken has just gone with her in the ambulance to West Loughborough.
Oh, I suppose it was Rouse's own fault.
Or whoever helped her to put up the thing last night.
Ah, Lucy. You've heard the dreadful news, I expect.
Oh, I have.
Miss Rouse's people have a telephone, it seems, so Miss Meek is putting through a trunk call to them now. I want to be available to talk to them. So will you take prayers, Miss Lux?
Yes, of course.
Miss Hodge, you wanted to see me?
Oh, in my office, O'Donnell. No, never mind, now that you are here. Tell me, it was you who helped Miss Rouse to put up the boom last night?
Yes, Miss Hodge.
When you put the boom up, which end did you take?
The wall end, Miss Hodge.
You put the iron pin into the upright that is fixed to the wall?
Yes, Miss Hodge.
And Miss Rouse took care of the upright in the middle of the floor?
Yes, Miss Hodge. I always did do the end by the wall.
Why was that?
Rouse is taller than I am. She could shove the boom higher, so I always took the wall end so that I could put a foot in the wall bars when I was putting the pin in.
I see. Very well. Thank you, Miss O'Donnell, for being so frank. You may go now.
Which end came down, Miss Hodge?
The middle end.
Oh, thank you.
Poor wretch. It was a horrible moment for her. It is most unlike Miss Rouse to be careless about apparatus.
You're not suggesting that O'Donnell is lying.
No. What she said was obviously true. But I still cannot see how it happened. A pin would have to be very badly put in indeed for the boom to come down like that.
Well, I suppose Giddy couldn't have done something to it accidentally.
I don't know what. You can't alter a pin put in at that height without stretching up deliberately to do it. It's not as if it was something he might possibly touch with the abhorrence.
No. Vibration is the only kind of force that would alter the pin's position. Some kind of tremor.
Miss Rouse locked the gymnasium as usual last night and gave the key to Giddy. And he unlocked it just after first bell this morning.
Then there is no alternative to the theory that for once Rouse was too casual. So the blame is hers. And let us be thankful for it. It's bad enough as it is, but it would be far worse if someone else had to bear the knowledge that she was responsible. We better go into prayers, Miss Pym.
In the middle of the hymn, I remembered the damp footprints. I had taken it for granted that they were Rouse's, that she had been to the gymnasium and gone, but she hadn't. She came later. Then whose were the footprints?
Students, you are all aware of the unfortunate accident which occurred this morning, entirely through the carelessness of the student concerned. That a student as responsible and altogether admirable as Miss Rouse should have failed to examine the apparatus before she used it is a warning to you all. That is one point. This is the second. Miss Rouse's fracture is serious and means that she will not be fit for work for many months. I have therefore offered Miss Innes the post at Arlinghurst. She has accepted.
The deity disposes.
I don't know why, but the whole thing seemed too pat to me. Not only had the accident happened at the last available moment, but whose were those damp footprints going into the gym? And whose was the small metal rosette lying under the waiting boom? One thing was certain. It didn't belong to Rouse. To begin with, she hadn't been in the gym by the time I found it. And besides, she didn't possess a pair of pumps. I knew because I packed her things to send to the hospital. No pumps, and she'd been wearing gym shoes. Someone else must have gone to the gym between Giddy's cleaning and my arrival. Someone who'd lost a rosette from her slipper.
Everyone is just the least little bit insane.
One's emotional state ceases to be normal.
Well, after the afternoon celebrations, I knew I would have to take the rosette to Henrietta. I was wrong last time when I destroyed the little red book. This time, I must do my duty. Meanwhile, there was the demonstration. Teresa's cousin Rick sat next to me in the gallery.
What a charming collection. Tell me, are they hand-picked?
I don't understand.
Are these all the seniors there are?
You mean just the best? Oh, no, that's the whole set. Did you think we gave the spotty ones £0.50 to take themselves off for the afternoon? As the girls prepared for the balancing exercises, I looked to see who had been given the position where Rouse had been found. It was Innes.
Oh dear. Is something the matter with that girl?
I hope not.
She looks as if she's going to faint. Positively green. Excitement, I expect.
Yes. The 8 seniors had somersaulted up onto the high booms and had risen in unison to a standing position, facing each other in pairs. The exercise started, but Innes stood motionless, apparently unable to move a muscle.
I hope she's not going to fall off.
But Innes managed to remain standing on the boom long enough to be able to return to the floor with the rest.
Oh, I say. Well done. And what a wonderful face. So good, yet so bad. Pure Borgia.
Oh, no. I could hardly bear to look at poor Inez. She was living in some tortured world of her own.
One's emotional state ceases to be normal.
Insane. And when the vaulting came, her performance was so remarkable, so reckless, that I wondered if she were trying to break her neck publicly.
Miss Pym! There you are. Yes? I want you to meet my people. Look, Mother, I found Miss Pym at last.
How do you do?
I should be changing. I must fly.
Well, now, Miss Pym, we can ask you something that we are dying to know. How do you do it?
Do what, Mrs. Nash?
Impress our daughter.
Yes. All her life we have been trying to make some impression on Pamela, but we remain just a couple of dear people who have to be humoured now and then.
Until you turned up, no one has made any impression on her since the nanny she had at the age of 4.
And that impression was a physical one. The only time in her life that she was spanked.
What happened?
We had to get rid of Nanny.
Pam engineered the first sit-down strike in history. She kept it up for 7 days. There was nothing else to do but get rid of Nanny.
A first-rate woman she was, too. We were devastated to lose her.
Oh, Mary, darling, there you are.
Hello, Mrs. Nash. Mr. Nash.
You've been overworking, dear.
Or they all have.
Not Pamela. Pam's never worked hard in her life.
Did you see me make a fool of myself on the boom?
Oh, my dear, we sweated for you. Whatever happened? Did you turn dizzy?
That was just Innes's way of stealing publicity. None of us has the wit to think up a stunt like that. Come on, Mary. We should be seen to tea.
Miss Pym, do you mind if Rick sits with you while I do tea duty?
Oh, well,
Sit there, Rick. See you later.
Isn't she lovely? Odd, isn't it? I didn't even know she existed until last Easter. 3 months of odd moments isn't very long to make any effect on a person like Teresa.
Do you want to make an effect?
Yes. Are you worried about something, Miss Pym?
Dear Rick, you're very understanding. I wish I'd met someone like you when I was Teresa's age. It's just... I have to do something that is right. And I'm afraid of the consequences.
Consequences to you?
No, to other people. You see, the proper thing isn't necessarily the right thing. Or do I mean the opposite?
I'm not sure that I know what you mean at all.
Well, there are those awful dilemmas about whom would you save. You know, if you knew that by saving a person from the top of a snowslide, you would start an avalanche that would destroy a village, would you do it?
Of course I would do it. The avalanche might bury the village without killing a cat, so you would be one life to the good.
You would always do the right thing and let the consequences take care of themselves.
That's about it.
I think it's too simple.
Unless you plan to play God, one has to take the simple way.
Play God?
Unless you're clever enough to see before and after, like the deity, it's best to stick to the rules. Do the obvious right thing, Miss Pym, and let God dispose.
Very well, then, I thought. After supper, I would take the little rosette to Henrietta and tell her where I found it.
Miss Pym, we're brewing cocoa in the common room. Do come and cheer us up.
Well, I don't feel particularly cheerful myself, Beau. But if you'll put up with my gloom, I'll put up with yours. Oh, it's the end of the good weather.
Yes, we've lit a wood fire. Here she is, everybody. There's a chair over by the fire, Miss Pym. I'll get you some cocoa.
Excuse my bandaged feet. I bled into my best ballet shoes. You'll have to excuse all of us tonight, Miss Pym. I think everybody's descended to bedroom slippers. Greengage will be here in a minute. She's taking Fröken some flowers from us. I must have some more cocoa. Is anyone else ready for more? Oh, yes, please. Yes, please.
And it was then, as Inez got up from her seat on the floor, that I saw her feet. And that she was wearing black pumps.
and the little metal ornament that should have been on the left one was not there. Oh, no. Mary Innes. The only one, after all, who had a motive for being in the gym at 6 o'clock that morning.
Hello, Gage. Come and have some cocoa. What's the matter?
I heard the staff talking about Rouse.
Well, what about her? Is she better?
She's dead.
Never mind, Innes. I'll mop it up. You must have heard wrong, Gage.
No, I didn't. They were talking on the landing. She died half an hour ago.
I did put up the wall end. Of course you did, Donny. We all know that.
Does that mean there'll be an inquest? Miss Pym?
Oh, yes. Yes, an inquest and police and everything. I lay awake all that night in turmoil.
One's emotional state.
Everyone.
Ceases to be normal.
Inside.
It's bad for you to burn up inside.
Do the obvious right thing and let God dispose.
That was when it was a hypothetical affair of, what's that beastly phrase? Grievous bodily harm. And now it's
murder.
Oh, if I go to Henrietta in the morning, it won't be God who'll dispose, it'll be the law. I mean, Innes will be hanged. Oh, surely she doesn't deserve that. Anyway, if God does dispose, why did he choose me to be an instrument? I mean, why give me the responsibility of the rosette? It should have been a strong-minded person who would have gone to Henrietta straight away. Someone who doesn't always see 3 sides to every question.
It's not a normal
One's
life.
emotional state.
You cannot expect them
ceases to be normal.
Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe God is disposing by giving me the responsibility, because I won't do the obvious right thing. Oh, no. What can I be thinking of? Me, respectable, law-abiding Lucy Pym. Of course I have a duty to do. I can't suppress evidence. Oh. I won't keep you a moment, Miss Innes. I wanted to show you this. Do you know what it is?
Where did you get that?
I found it on the gymnasium floor very early yesterday morning.
And why do you show it to me?
Because I understand that there is only one pair of those old-fashioned pumps with a rosette missing in the college. Am I wrong?
No. You don't understand, Miss Pym. It wasn't meant to be the way it turned out. It was because I was so sick about missing Arlinghurst. It was meant to be...
A temporary incapacity?
Yes. It was just to be a way of letting me have a second chance. It was never meant to be... More than that, you must believe that.
Oh, of course I believe it.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I've been going over and over it in my mind all night. Of course you can't possibly be allowed to profit by Rouse's death.
Oh, but I won't, Miss Pym. I knew when I heard that Rouse was dead that I couldn't go to Arlinghurst. I was going to tell Miss Hodge this morning. I was awake too last night, facing a lot of things. Look, Miss Pym, if I were to spend the rest of my life atoning for yesterday morning, would you...
Become an accessory after the fact?
No. I suppose it's too much to expect anyone to do. But I would atone, you know, gladly.
I believe you, of course, but how?
I I thought of that last night. I began with leper colonies, but they were rather unreal. I had a better idea. I decided that I would work alongside my father. I hadn't planned to do medical work, but I am good at it, and there's no orthopaedic clinic in our hometown.
It sounds admirable. But where is the penance?
My one ambition since I was a little girl has been to get away from living in a small market town. Coming to Leys was my passport to freedom.
I see.
Believe me, Miss Pym, it would be penance. But I would also be doing something useful with my life. Something that would make it good value for exchange. It would be my life or hers.
Yes, I see. Well, Miss Innes, I am entirely in your hands, because I am quite incapable of sending anyone to the gallows. I know what my plain duty is, and I can't do it.
You mean that you won't tell about the rosette?
No, I shall never tell anyone. Mary, are you all right?
It's all right, I'm not going to faint. I'll be all right in a minute. It's just, for the last 24 hours I've been so afraid. And seeing that silver thing in your hands was the last straw. And then suddenly it's all over and you've let me buy a reprieve and...
I refused to go to the inquest. I couldn't sit there with my load of knowledge and not at some point be tempted to stand up and tell the truth. So I only heard about Arthur Middleham afterwards. Mr. Middleham lived between Leys and West Larborough. Mr. Middleham had had a pane of glass shaken out of his drawing-room window by a passing convoy of lorries, at much the same time as a pin had been moved out of place in the gymnasium at Leys. Mr. Middleham's theory was, in fact, the same as Miss Lux's: vibration. And the police were of the opinion that the Leys affair had been an unfortunate accident. Death by misadventure. So that was the end of it. I packed my cases. I had been receiving an endless string of small presents, so there was considerably more to pack than I had when I arrived.
Miss Pym, I do not intrude, I hope.
No, of course not.
Oh, dear. You're not a very good packer, are you?
Well...
Neither am I. It is a very pedestrian talent. Dear Miss Pym, I came to give you a piece of news. I am not going back to Brazil. I am going to marry Rick.
I'm delighted to hear it.
And you will come to the wedding, no?
Oh, with great pleasure. Oh, I'm so glad about it.
Yes, it is all very satisfactory. My parents are very pleased. And my grandmother, of course.
And I take it that you yourself are pleased?
Oh, yes. Rick is the only person in the whole world, except my grandmother, who can make me do things I don't want to do. That will be very good for me. And, of course, I like him very much.
When the nut tart had gone, I noticed a letter had been slipped under my door. It was from Mary Innes.
For the rest of my life I shall pay forfeit gladly. My life for hers. Perhaps 10 years from today you will come to the West Country and see what I have done with my life. Meanwhile, my unspeakable gratitude.
I came to see if I could help you pack, Miss Pym.
Oh, thank you, Beau, dear, but I think I've finished. However, whether anything will close is another matter.
Oh, they may need sitting on. Just as well I called in. What time did you order the taxi for?
11:30.
Oh, it's practically that now. Now, have you everything in that's going in? Consider well, because once we get those cases shut, we'll never get them open again. Nothing left in the drawers. People always leave things stuck in the back of drawers. There now, what did I tell you? Oh,
That looks like the little button thing off my shoe.
Your shoe?
Yes. Those black pump things that one wore at dancing class.
I thought they were Inez's.
Oh, she borrows them sometimes. I keep them because they're so lovely when one's feet are tired, like gloves. So this is where I lost the rosette. You know, I've wondered quite a lot about that. You'll have to sit on this case, I'm afraid, Miss Pym. You sit on it, and I'll wrestle with the locks.
And of course, the locks did exactly what she wanted. Everything and everyone, always since the day she was born, had done what Beau wanted. If they hadn't, she took steps to see that they did.
We had to get rid of Nanny.
If Beau Nash's friend had the obvious right to Arlinghurst, then to Arlinghurst she should go. Why had I never noticed before how cold those blue eyes were? Brilliant and cold and shallow.
Not normal, not normal, not normal, not normal.
Insane,
not normal,
insane,
not normal,
insane,
not
insane,
normal.
murder, insane, murder, 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 murder.
How soon had Inez begun to suspect? Certainly by the time of the demonstration, when she had turned green on the spot where it had happened. Poor Inez, who was paying forfeit.
My life for hers.
And I thought she meant Rouse. So now you know why I have given up lecturing on psychology until this broadcast. What do I know about psychology anyhow? As a psychologist, I'm a first-rate teacher of French. I shall write a book about character as betrayed by facial characteristics. At least I was right about that. Well, mostly. Eyebrows.
Audible hopes you've enjoyed this program.